so plain and precious. So plain and precious.
Travis Wayne Gazelle. So, after posting the Book of Mormon Keystone video, resurrecting cows, I saw a comment from a woman, self-professed Christian, who was upset that Arizona News never covered the kidnapping of the Mormon teen. And so I accepted her comment and replied with a whole long list of Arizona News clips and an Idaho clip, which my video was taken from the Utah clip. And I say in the video, it's all over the news in Arizona, Utah, and Idaho. I don't get it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Is this what results from a pass-fail graduation? You participated, so you don't have to learn anything? I check the news every day, every night, so it doesn't get out of hand. and I go to specific news channels. Is that too complicated? Do people not use YouTube for what they want to watch? Do they just flip on YouTube and I don't see any news about the kidnapping in Arizona. Where is it? I demand to see it. Do you not have a search engine where you type in what you want to look for? Oh my God. And so yeah, I had to throw in a comment, because if I'm going to accept a comment, I'm going to have to reply to her Christian anti-Semitism. And so I did. Some Jewish scriptures. And to declare it as Christian is anti-Semitism. You are a hater. And Mormons have never gotten that. As I do videos talking about how the Book of Mormon is true and how Joseph Smith is true. And Mormons say, no! You Antichrist Korahor! And ex-Mormons and former Mormons and critics of the church, no! You're wrong! Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it. So, yeah, the teenager has been found. The aunt and uncle, whoever they are in relation, they are now being charged with the kidnapping. They were found at the Alaskan border. They made it all the way up to Alaska and tried to get through the border, and because of the alert, they got them. And so it's not Idaho, it's Alaska where Mormons are going for Zion. Don't you know that Putin is seeking to take back Alaska? Are you sure that's where Zion's supposed to be? Alright. Whatever. And so, yeah, Mormons believe they're Christian. Jesus is their Christ. It says so. It's in the name. It says is so in the Book of Mormon. It says another testament of Jesus Christ. Are you really that young? Did your parents not tell you? Did your grandparents not tell you? And so, yes, let's go over some of the Book of Mormon and some of the words of Joseph Smith in the learning of the Christians versus the learning of the Jews, and even throw in some Bible stuff too. So, 1 Nephi chapter 1, verse 2. Yea, I make a record in the language of my father, which consists of the learning of the Jews, which is Christian Jesus, and the language of the Egyptians, which is Christian Jesus. Not anti-Semitic at all. I have Jewish friends. I have ancient Egyptian friends. I talk to them. They're dead. They come and see me. Just like Biden's ghost. SNL. And so then we get down to verse 8. And it's literal history, so you don't see the pattern match with Joseph Smith's second vision. Lehi's second vision, Joseph Smith's second vision. Exactly the same pattern match. And so he sees the heavens open. And so this is an actual revelation that he's getting. He's seeing the heavens open. So learning of the Jews is he's using Urim and Thummim and is seeing a conjunction in outer space. And so learning of the Jews is he sees Saturn sitting in Ophiuchus, and Jupiter, who has been born of Virgo, is starting his mission in the latter days. And he is Emmanuel, sun at noonday. And then the 12 stars in Leo, the lion. Going, how do you get that, Travis? Revelation chapter 12. We can go to that. They obviously do not put it in the footnotes for you, so that's why you're confused. Because the footnotes are the words of the prophets, even though it was done by guys like me. Well, not like me. I am unique. I'm an original. I'm one of a kind. But I did do the revised project, and they too rejected me on some of the stuff I put in. And so here we have, behold, a great conjunction in heaven, a woman, Virgo, clothed with the sun, and the moon under her feet. And so Christians and Mormons, it's real. You know, it's a vision. And he's saying this, seeing a woman standing on the moon, and she's got the sun clothing her, because she's naked. Got to cover up and hide her. And upon her head, a crown of 12 stars. So there's no Leo here, Travis. So yeah, that's the difference. That's what Mormons see. And so Mormons will see Joseph Smith translation, Revelation chapter 12, 1 to 17, and they'll see that it's changed with the italic parts. And there appeared a great sign in heaven, in the likeness of things on the earth, but we're not supposed to seek after signs. I'm confused. This is contradictory. A woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And it can't be astronomy, because that means it's an actual day and hour date, and no man knows the day and the hour, because it says so in Matthew. And the woman, being with child, cried, travailing in birth and pain to be delivered. And verse 5 is moved to verse 3. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron, and her child was caught up unto God and his throne. And so Christians do videos on YouTube saying that this guy is the Antichrist. As Benson said, Christians deny the divinity of their Jesus. Precious and few. And so, yeah, the learning of the Jews, this is a star conjunction. Constellations. You've got Virgo, you've got Leo, and you've got Ophiuchus. And the celestial bodies are all represented. The sun, the moon, the 5 visible planets. This is a precise date in the learning of the Jews. It's the 23rd of September, 2017. It already happened. I've been showing you the pictures. I have a Urim and Thummim. I'm not supposed to, but I do. And Mormons don't like it. No, no, no. Only the president of the church can have the Urim and Thummim, Travis. Not you. You can't have it. You're wrong. And so, as missionaries, we all go out on our missions, and instead of having them read from the beginning or read from the end, we take them to 3rd Nephi, chapter 11, and we skip the first 7 verses and go straight to 8. And so, learning of the Christians, Mormons as Christians, this is literal history, because the Book of Mormon's literal history. It's not the learning of the Jews, and therefore resurrected and ascended Jesus. Nelson never has said ascended. Never. Strange. There's only one deity in Mormon theology who never ascends. Who is that? I forget. I have associative memory, but I've forgotten this one. Who's the deity that never ascends because he fell 2 days after his birthday on 9/11? Who is that guy? Who never ascends? It's going to bug me now for the rest of the day. And so instead of the learning of the Jews, Mormons read this as literal history. And it came to pass that there was a great multitude gathered together of the people of Nephi round about the temple, which was in the land bountiful. So archaeologists are just lazy learners and lax disciples and not doing their job to find this location. Because it's real. It's there. Keep looking. If you're not going to use your spiritual witness. And they were marveling and wondering one with another, and were showing one to another the great and marvelous change which had taken place. And they were also conversing about this Jesus Christ. See, Travis? Jesus. There he is. It's in the text. He's real. We proved you wrong. Of whom the sign. Oh, no, we don't look for signs. That's an adulterous person who seeks signs. Looking at porn. Had been given concerning his death. And that's Samuel the Lamanite. Literally existed and talked about the sign of the birth, which I just went over in Revelation chapter 12. This is right there in the Book of Mormon. Literal history. That's his actual birth date, not the start of his ministry and the learning of the Jews. And so the death and learning of the Jews, this is 8 April 2024. Sign, conjunction, Revelation 19. But nope, Christian, Jesus. Got Got to be brainwashed. Let God prevail. And we'll make this a short video. We'll only make it 3 hours long instead of 10. Joseph Smith history. It's Jesus and Heavenly Father who come to Joseph Smith in the first vision. And no, Travis, it's not Adam as Heavenly Father. No, it's those scribes who made errors saying that that's what Brigham Young said. Brigham Young has no other documents at conference, nor did he get into heated discussions with Orson Hyde, reaffirming it, so that Brigham Young, in retaliation for Orson Hyde's lack of faith, as a lazy learner and lax disciple, bumped him down in the rank of the 12 so that John Taylor would succeed him the next year, which was actually another 3 years after that. Nope. Didn't happen. Fake news. Verse 19. And so I was answered that I must join none of them. That's the Jewish church, right? All the different sects of the Jewish church. For they were all wrong. And the personage, Joseph Smith, forgot to put Jesus in there. They call him by name. He doesn't call them by name. They don't say their name. Who addressed me said that all their creeds were an abomination in his sight. So we're not going to bother to look up what a creed is. It's an abominable thing. And so we don't need to know about the Council of Nicaea in 325 CE, the creation of Christianity and the creation of Jesus as the name, and the creation of his nature and character as, wait for it, not existing, not real. Homoousion. Constantine made up the word because none of the other bishops would give up their nature and character of their Christ. So Constantine settled it, and all of them had to dismiss their Christ for the new one, and thus turned the Jewish scriptures into literal history, and now the Jews murdered the Christian Christ, when it was the Jewish author who wrote about it as a prophecy of the latter days. So who is he? Who does Joseph Smith say he is? Well, if it's the learning of the Jews, it's verse 40 of the Joseph Smith history of 1838, because he says that prophet was Christ. There he is. There's our Christ. Verse 40. And so you go to Acts, because he says to go to Acts. 3rd chapter of Acts, 22nd, 23rd verses. That's our Christ. And who does they say is our Christ? A man like Moses. From Deuteronomy 18, 15 through 19. So it's Christian Jesus, not the Jewish Christ. And so Mormons are now waiting for Jesus to come, because they need to hear his voice so that they won't be cut off from among the church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. It's not the learning of the Jews' Christ. That's the false Antichrist, Korihor. Jews aren't right. Joseph Smith isn't the learning of the Jews. Book of Mormon is wrong. You got to correct them. So stay away from the Joseph Smith papers. You're going to have an even harder time putting Jesus in there, because you're going to see what they did to correct Joseph. And so, to wrap it all up, Section 103 Verse 16, in the latter days there will be Zion, and it's right here in Salt Lake City. No need to go to Missouri. And Joseph Smith in 19 July 1840, which Brigham Young didn't want to publish because Joseph Smith calls out Brigham Young as Judas and that he's going to murder Joseph and usurp his church and call it the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So Brigham Young was pissed and didn't want to publish it. And so, in the learning of Mormon Jesus, therefore I will raise up unto my people a man who shall lead them like as Moses. So it's Jesus. And despite will, meaning future tense, it's Jesus who was born in the Roman period of time. Won't be raised up on the Mormons, that's stupid. But that's the learning of the Jews. And so, who is this church that is holding Mormons bondage in the future? Because it still hasn't happened yet, because the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true. They're not anti-Semitic, having replaced Joseph with Christianity Jesus. Tithing doesn't hold Mormons in bondage. Nope. Section 119 is not priestcraft as a forged document of Brigham Young, published once Joseph was dead. Not at all. So yeah, the learning of the Jews, Joseph Smith is saying, this is your guy, Mormons, and you're supposed to listen to him so that you can be saved from the great and abominable church and not be cut off from the day that shall burn as an oven. And in section 64, which was on 9/11. And so, yeah, we have a 9/11 coming up on Black Friday, day after Thanksgiving. That's 9/11 Friday in the Jewish calendar. Learning of the Jews.